Hello gorgeous, how are you doing? Welcome back to Cutting the Caboose and Fact Cow, the news channel I kind of did a year ago and has been away ever since, but now it's back. Hooray! Let's get straight into it. So the first story up this week is the tale of Rahaf Mohammed Al Kanan, a Saudi Arabian girl who has, found herself in Canada. Now, if you're not familiar with the story, she basically renounced Islam and fled Saudi Arabia, stating that she feared for her life. She was abused, came under death threats, and she has alleged that along with many other girls, she faces abuse and torture and violence on a regular basis, an allegation her father has outrightly denied. However, since her plight became public, she has been embraced by feminist groups, by civil rights groups, and generally hailed as a beacon of defiance against repression. And more recently, we've seen Saudi Arabia's human rights record under intense scrutiny following the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi last year, whose body, I won't even go into that one just here, but wow. So basically what happened with Rahaf is she was on holiday in Kuwait. From there, she fled to Bangkok in Thailand, where the immigration authorities initially refused and denied her entry and seized her passport. She barricaded herself into the hotel room she was being kept in, but the Thai authorities neglected to take her phone from her. Once there, Rahaf took to social media. She started a campaign on Twitter telling people what was going on, and shortly the world, noticed. She was temporarily granted aid by the UN, which helped her set her position. She applied initially for asylum in Australia, but the process was taking just too long, at which point the UNHCR intervened and granted her asylum in Canada. Go Canada! The more I hear about Canada, the more I love that place, honestly. She's now safely in Canada, where she's been hailed as very brave, and she sounds like she's put up with a lot, to be honest. Although her family have criticised the Thai officials, saying instead of taking her passport, they should have taken her phone. Which kind of justifies her position, right? Yeah, good job, Dad, for digging that hole a little bit deeper. So what do you think? I'd love to know. What are your comments on, what are your feelings on this story? Drop them, as always, below. That's Nick Philip DeFranco. Next up, Brexit. Oh my gosh. Now, Brexit in the UK right now is pretty much the only story. It's the big deal. Now, if you don't know what Brexit is, in a nutshell, 2 years ago, Britain voted to leave the European Union. It was a huge turnout, and the Leave campaign won by a fairly small margin, but the turnout was huge. A lot of people voted to leave. The problem is that A, nobody expected the Leave vote to win, so there was no plan put in place, and B, campaigners on both sides, particularly the Leave campaign, ran a pretty dirty campaign of lies. Now, I know lies and politicians, no surprise there, but basically people didn't really know what they were voting for. And as a result, there's now a strong campaign to have another vote, to say, we didn't know that would happen, so we want to vote again. Which is kind of fair, because their campaign was really, really deceitful, to say the least. The problem now is a lot of people who voted to leave said, oh, no, I knew exactly what we were voting for. And they're now saying they voted for something that they didn't say at the time, but they're kind of changing history a little bit. Meanwhile, other people who voted to leave are saying, oh, yeah, actually, we were lied to. We now want to stay. Sorry, we made a mistake. We didn't understand. And the people who voted to remain all along are saying, yeah, we told you so. So you've got these people fighting on both sides, and it's kicking right off. In the middle of all that, we've got the government who are trying to put a deal together where we leave the EU in a way which is good for the country, and nobody in our government can agree on what is the best or the worst thing to do. Now, I personally didn't really have an opinion either way. I just wanted some facts. And because nobody on the Leave or Remain campaign were able to do that, because let's be honest, nobody knew what the hell was going to happen. I was like, well, maybe we should stay until we know what's going to happen. Just saying. But you know what? I don't really like the EU much either, so I wasn't kind of that bothered. I was more annoyed by the fact that it was such a dirty campaign. But I said at the time that this is a poison chalice. Whoever is in power to see this through is going to have a hell of a time. And I even put a Facebook post up to say, you know what? I don't know if we'll ever leave. This will just go on and on and on, with it being just too difficult for anyone to manage. So what do you think? Were you a Brexiteer? Were you a Remainer? What are your opinions? Leave them below. So if you like this sort of content, you want to be kept informed of what I'm doing, now would be a good time to hit that subscribe button, hit that alarm bell, and you'll be kept informed of all my stuff. This is a little bit of an experiment that I'm putting out there. I'm going to be working on more news stories to come, but hey, if you have any ideas on what sort of news stories you'd like to see covered, then obviously drop those below in the comments. Next up, the gift that keeps on giving. Donald Trump is back in the news again. When is he not, right? I mean, seriously? So right now, the New York Times have reported that the FBI have actually got an open inquiry as to whether Donald Trump is a Russian puppet, basically. And was he working with Russia? This is not being helped by the fact that Donald Trump has been telling people, yeah, I wish we'd leave NATO, which is kind of what Russia have been asking for all along. I'm like, oh, dude, seriously? You need lessons in covering your tracks, man. And the inquiry basically followed the firing, the dismissal of James Comey a couple of years ago, who was at the time the director of the FBI. And Comey was overseeing a probe into exactly this. And so there's a lot of suspicion saying, what, you fired the guy who was investigating you? Mm-hmm. Look, I don't know if Donald Trump is a Russian puppet or not, but come on, man, it's not looking good. White House press secretary has kind of repeated what Donald Trump said, because, duh, and has basically branded the whole thing as absurd, that James Comey was fired because he was a disgraced partisan hack. Even though Donald Trump was giving him hugs and telling him how much he loved him like a couple of weeks before. Consistent much? Oh, and also his deputy, Andrew McCabe, is a known liar. You can't make this up. You really can't. Sarah went on to say, unlike former President Barack Obama, who let Russia and other foreign adversaries push America around, President Trump has actually been tough on Russia. Really? Do you even know what tough means? Come on. I mean... Finally, bit of January news. Or should I say Januhairy? Really doesn't sound right. So after No Shave November and Movember for the guys, and some of us who have more facial hair than we want to admit to, a new social media campaign called Januhairy has begun. And it went viral. And basically, it's a month where women are happy or able, like we need a month to do that, right? To not shave their body hair. And it's basically encouraging people to grow their hair freely for a month. It was basically started by Laura Jackson, a drama student who just grew some body hair for a performance, and then it became a thing. And it's meant to encourage women to go au natural in support of the charity Body Gossip, which is great. The charity encourages people to be the best versions of themselves through arts and education. So that's good. However, as always, you get the nut jobs who criticize and complain about women, you shouldn't be ugly. No, you should shave yourself for the men because they won't fancy you anymore, because that's what people do. And it just goes back to this constant battle of virtue signaling and being, social justice warriors versus assholes on the other side who are trying to repress everyone. And in the middle is the rest of us are just saying, I don't know, just don't want to shave for a month. So yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing, okay? I'm not going to not shave for a month because I'm transgender and frankly, I don't want a beard. But you know what, right? For the rest of you guys, if that's what you want to do, fine. But I'm not sure if you need a month specially set aside to do that, although I understand that it's, highlighting it, so that's good. But I don't feel you should be obligated to do it just for that month. If you don't want to shave your body hair, don't shave your body hair. To hell with what people say and think. So that is it. As always, leave your comments below. I'd love to know what you think. This is a new, old thing, going back to doing a news roundup, but it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and it's just been difficult to find a way to fit that in. I think I have that cracked now. I'd love to know what you think. Leave your comments and feedback below. What sort of stories would you like me to be covering? I really want to know. I really want this to be a direction that the channel starts to go in, along with other lifestyle content, which, as regular viewers know, you already know I'm working on. So there we go. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Popping up over there, or maybe over there, I can never remember, is the last video I put out, and below that is the one YouTube thinks you should watch next. And I shall see you in the very next show. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.